Spurs Bros, welcome into episode 30 of the Spurs Bros podcast. We're here this week, a little bit of a different format. Going to start out, Alec and I are here to talk to you about the number one story. Stephon Castle is a 2024-25 Rookie of the Year. Going to give all of our thoughts on that, give him his flowers. We've got some news regarding Harrison Barnes that you don't want to miss. And then we're going to switch it over, kick it to ourselves really from about a week ago. We recorded some player grades. So we split this up into two parts. Part one will be this week, part two will be next week. Basically, we're just going to go through each player on the Spurs roster, give them a letter grade, A through F, let you know what our thoughts were on the season. Did they meet or miss expectations? Don't forget, we've got hats for sale. Let us know if you want one in the comments. Like this video and subscribe to the channel, man. We're trying to grow, build this community of Spurs bros and Spurs fans and listeners all over the place. So subscribe to the channel. Go follow us on Twitter and YouTube at Spurs Bros Pod. And episode 30 is coming at you right now.
Spurs Bros! Welcome to episode 30, the Julian Champagny episode of the Spurs Bros podcast. I'm your host, Alec. This is my co-host, Reagan Keogh. My man, boy, oh boy, do we
What's
have some
going
good
on?
news. We have some good news. The season's over, but we have fantastic news. Reagan, go ahead and break it.
Stephon Castle, Rookie of the Year. San Antonio goes back to back. Stephon Castle is the Rookie of the Year in the NBA this season, back to back with Victor Wembanyama from last season. It's the first time that a pair of teammates have won Rookie of the Year awards since Karl Anthony Towns and Andrew Wiggins in 2015 and 16. And it's only the second pair of teammates since the NBA-ABA merger. Cover up facts, the Spurs are now the only team, or I think we have the most Rookie of the Year since the merger with four. And that was highlighted
Crazy.
today. It was awesome. When they presented the trophy, Brian Wright was talking at the Spurs practice facility, and he's like, "Man, I've had the privilege of giving you two Rookie of the Month awards, but I've got some better company to roll out for you to give you this Rookie of the Year award." And out comes the Admiral and Timmy
Oh my
and
gosh.
Wimby, and they take that picture up there, the four of them. Oh man, it gave me
Oh,
goosebumps. I was just like, Spurs excellence on display for everybody to see.
chills, dude. Oh, chills. That's so beautiful, dude. Again, we talked about this basically every episode, how we talk about Stephon every episode. We comment on how much we
Can't
talk
shut
about
up
Steph.
about him.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
still, my goodness gracious, that boy deserves that award. He deserved every bit of it. I love the interview that he did with Jacob Toby afterwards.
Oh,
I don't know if you saw that as well.
yeah.
He asked him, "How's it feel, man?" And he said, "I kind of knew I had this locked up in the bag for for a bit. I feel like I won that a while back." And some people are saying he was being too cocky. I loved it. I loved it.
I
Um,
think it was easy for people to pull that quote and out of context, it definitely like could sound like, oh, I had this on lock months ago. Like I was never worried about this. I came into the season looking to win the award. I'm glad I executed. Like this is no news to me. But if you actually look at the interview, it's more like I feel like he got the feeling that like he was probably informed of this a while ago because they had the whole setup at the practice facility. Like they
ah,
had everybody in attendance. I feel like it was kind of like, hey, they had the scoop. You could see like people are on online tracking votes and stuff. Like you can kind of see where the award's gonna go. I think he was just like, hey man, like yeah, it's definitely cool. Like the hearing my name was a crazy feeling, but this is old news to me now, and I'm ready for the next thing. Is kind of how I took it. So, but hey, whatever's getting them talking about us is cool, but it'll simmer back down, and San Antonio will be quiet again here pretty quick.
yes, sir. Last thing I'll say about this, again, one of the things that we love so much about Stephon Castle is his demeanor, his attitude, not just his talent, as well. He doesn't take things personal. He moves on to the next thing. He just wants to get better. He just wants to improve and just fill out his potential. And I just saw this really cool stat. Also, one of the things that we love about him is that he's a winner, and that's why we're glad to have him on the team and just and have that as part of our identity back in the Spurs organization. This is really cool. As a 17-year-old, he won the gold medal in 2022, U18 Team USA. 19-year-old, he won 2023-2024 national championship with UConn. And as a 20-year-old, won the NBA Rising Stars game championship and MVP. And then he just won the Rookie of the Year. Like, that is a crazy resume for being
That's a
17 to
crazy run, dude.
17
Oh
to
my
20
God.
years old. You still can't even drink a sip of alcohol, and like that's your resume. That's
And there's
badass.
more to add to it. I didn't hear half of that stuff. Like I didn't realize half of that stuff. But on top of that, UConn men's basketball was putting out a bunch of stuff too. And like if you look at his career highlights that they put out, just from 2023 when he was a McDonald's All-American
Right.
till now, it was McDonald's All-American, Big East All-Freshman Team, Big East Freshman of the Year, NCAA champion, NBA Rising Stars Challenge MVP, NBA Rookie of the Year. He's just destroyed competition at his age group for the last 3 or 4 or 5, 6 years. He's won everything there is to win, essentially. Like I cannot be more happy that he's on our team. And some other things that I saw and kind of compiling this, he was the rookie leader in 6 different categories: total points, field goals attempted, field goals made, free throws attempted, free throws made,
Nice.
and steals. He was also third amongst rookies in assists. And for the season, he ended up averaging almost 15 points a game, almost 4 rebounds, and just over 4 assists, almost 1 steal. I mean, the list, like, it really goes like on and on with him. 92 out of 100 first place votes. I know we say that we talk about him too much, but there is not talking about Stephon Castle too much. He is what the back half of the Spurs season was. He
Mhm.
deserves every second of this.
No, it's so fun. And the sites at the whole event, the whole rollout event for him were really cool as well. You had De'Aaron Fox was in attendance, Keldon Johnson was in attendance to see him collect that award and do all the interviews and stuff. It was awesome. Um,
Yeah, and Wimby was there
oh, of
yesterday
course,
too when it was
Wemby.
like
Right.
announced on TNT. He was in the background. He was like the only player that I really saw there with like Steph's family and some other personnel. So
Just
other rookie of the year there to support. So
yeah.
cool, man. Back to back feels so good. Area 51 is in full force.
It's special, right? Because, again, we went 22 wins in Wemby's first year and then 34, and it just felt like it didn't satisfy Spurs fan base how the season ended. So it's like, man, are we even close to being close? And it doesn't feel like it, of course, but you've got all these things in the background that are giving you hope of, once they come together and have the full season and just grow together, that can like turn on really quickly into something special. Obviously, that starts with Wemby and Steph together, man. So yeah, like you said, I can't say enough about him. He's badass.
Yeah, and there's plenty of time to talk about this summer, all those things in the background,
Yeah,
whether it be trades, whether it be free agent acquisitions, whether it be coaching situations, our own guys' recovery, Wemby, Fox, any other lingering injuries that might, need some cleanup or whatever. There's time to talk about all of that, but for right now, I think all of Spurs Nation can enjoy the fact that Stephon Castle is our guy and he's the NBA Rookie of the Year. And I mean, 92 out of 100 first place votes. It should have been unanimous, but 92 out of 100, that's pretty damn good.
yeah,
I'll
yeah,
take that every day of the week and twice on Sunday.
for sure. That's right, man. Woo! Well done, Stephon, man. Well done. We tip our hat to you. Take a day to rest, take a week to rest, and then get after this summer. We can't wait to see what you got next, man.
Hell yeah. On the other side of the award spectrum of the NBA right now, I did want to give a quick shout out. We've talked about one of our vets being an absolute leader in the community, Harrison Barnes, all season long. We've said it kind of ad nauseum, just like we've bragged about Steph being on our team. We've bragged about Harrison Barnes's impact in the San Antonio community since he got here. And that was well recognized a few days ago. Harrison Barnes was named one of 5 finalists for the 2025 NBA Social Justice Champion Award. Um, and kind of the qualifications, we've talked about it before, but just to remind Spurs bros and listeners that he funded $250,000 of tuition for local San Antonio kids looking to go to college. He's revitalized community courts, supported grassroots organizations of all different kinds with many different purposes in San Antonio in the past, 8, 9 months since he's been here. And all of that work has led to him being one of the 5 finalists for the Social Justice Champion Award this season. Not sure when the winner gets announced, but again, top-notch dude. He might be the best person on planet Earth as far as I'm concerned, if you're looking at just like the Spurs stratosphere right now. And like there's nothing getting in his way of making an impact off the court. And he's a busy guy, played 82 games. So
Yeah. Again, just also spectacular. Like Stuart said, like you and I said, we'd love to see him in a Spurs uniform long term for those exact reasons, man. We know what he does on the court, but then just stuff like that off the court is not only heartwarming, but it just leads an example. It continues in the footsteps of our players in the past, our legends of the past, who cared about the community, and it wasn't about them, right? You know, they gave back. They were fortunate enough, and they gave back. Yeah, it's so beautiful, man. So. I'm glad we shout him out again.
Spurs culture lives on.
Well, Spurs Bros, we hope you enjoyed this segment as much as we have, and just talking about Stephon and Harrison Barnes. But now it's time for a little bit of player grades, individual player grades. We've talked about the team as a whole all year long, but now it's time to get into the nitty-gritty of how did each player do throughout the season. We're going to start part one, which will be today. We're going to do that and cover some of our role players, our bench players. And then the week after, we're going to go into our starters, our stars of the team, and grade them.
So if you're actually watching right now on YouTube, we're dressed how we are right now. We're gonna look different here in a second. We're gonna add Stu. We recorded this previously, part one. Part two of this will come out, like Alex said, next week. Just trying to change some things up, and with the slower news cycle, aside from Stephon, we thought would be a great way to kind of look back on our season. So yeah, part two will be next week.
I do want to transition and talk about individual players, right? We talked high level, we talked goods and bad throughout the season, but now I want to talk individual player grades. We're not going to go through every player right now because there's quite a lot of them, but we'll do a part one tonight and we'll save the best for next week. I say let's go one player at a time and we'll give a grade for each of them. Let's start with number one, Bismack Biyombo. Stu, do you have a grade for Bismack Biyombo? What would you give him?
Yeah, for a short time as a Spur. I mean, we signed him with 25 games left or whatever, and we signed him on 10 day to start. I give him a B plus. I mean, he came in, did what we had to do, and given the circumstances, we were kind of already out of it. But he was a good pick and roll guy. Did fine with the starters. Came in, got 5-6 boards a night, 6-8 points off a couple putbacks and dunks. Did his thing. But I'm saying we do not re-sign him. Not the backup center of the future in my eyes.
Reagan.
Lockstep, bro. I had a B plus as well for Bismack. Like you said, like he did exactly what we kind of signed him to do. He filled a role. He stayed healthy, rim protector, good culture guy, really good human being. He did exactly what we brought him in for. B plus. He's not a world changer, a long term guy, but yeah, job
I
well done.
I'm serious. I'm not joking. Mine was also B plus
Dude, let's
because
go.
he he's basically held us together. Like if you think about it, like we didn't completely fall apart. If we didn't
Yeah.
have him, I mean, I don't know who else we would have gotten in the buyout market or wherever
Mobamba,
else.
like
I guess, but
that's the only other name that was really
We
out
might
there,
just
unless we
not
go
might have just
sign
ran
some,
Jeremy at
just
the 5. We might
ran
have.
Jeremy at the 5.
which I would have hated for
We would have been
Yeah.
Jeremy.
so bad. And so because of that, he kind of held us together from, again, falling apart completely.
Mhm.
He came in, he had some really, really good games, efficient games. Obviously, he reminded all of us that he's a really great shot blocker for being undersized.
He
Mhm.
had
Um,
like four double doubles in his first 8 games with us. It was crazy.
yeah,
He just came in and was like 12 and 10, 10 and
yeah,
12. Yeah, it was,
exactly.
so B
And
plus.
yeah, exactly. B plus. You saw there was obviously a talent difference when he went up against other elite fives, but still,
Good people. Yeah.
yeah, but again, B plus, he deserves it. The next person on the list is another big, Charles Bassey. What do you give Charles Bassey for the year? Reagan.
I had Charles Bassey to C plus, and people are probably going to say that I'm hating on that, but my first thing is we've talked about it. Best ability is availability, and he was not available. He's got a history of not being available. When he was on the court, he played well, and I think he showed some promise. If we were quote unquote stuck with Charles Bassey as our backup big next year, if he was available for 70 games, then I think it'd be okay. But I don't really see that happening based on his history. So That for that reason, C plus.
Okay. Stu?
I was exactly with you again, 2 for 2. I wrote, and I quote, Bassie, C plus, good on D, had some streaky good games on offense. We shouldn't resign.
Dude, I'm not kidding. For those exact reasons, I had the exact same thing. That's wild to me. I don't know if we're spending too much time with each other, boys,
Dude, we're
but
synced up.
I
We're
swear to
synced
you,
up.
that was my grade. That's
No,
crazy.
we just know ball so good.
Number 3 is Blake Wesley. Blake Wesley, I'll go ahead and go first there. I'll give a B plus. I'm going to give a B plus because he obviously did get a lot of time again this year, but he made the most out of the time that he was given. And there's another player on here. I'm going to compare him to his other draft mate, which is Malachi Branham, who's also on the list. He's next. Compared to Malachi Branham, I mean, I feel like Malachi didn't do much with what he was given in his third or fourth season now with the team. So I mean, I thought he did great there. He came in, he played his butt off. He was always on the sidelines. He was always cheering. He was always clapping for guys. And he picked up full court anytime he got a chance. He obviously showed his strengths. He looked like he was trying to play for a contract, even if it wasn't for us, in the coming years. It looked like he was trying to display his skills and what he can be to another team in the future. And I respect the hell out of it. He was playing his butt off and looked like he wanted to compete. So for those reasons, I give him a B plus. I didn't give him an A, obviously, because of just the skill deficiencies.
A,
bro. What?
Yeah,
Whoa.
A would be crazy.
No, I mean, just because of he's not that great of a point guard, to be honest.
Nobody in this group should be sniffing it.
As y'all say that, but maybe I'm over it. But I'm a Blake Stan in a sense. But I gave A minus. I said works hard anytime he's on the floor. Great D anytime he's on the floor. Takes advantage of all his PT, but he can't shoot. In my eyes, it would have been an A plus for when he would come in. If he could shoot consistently 40% 3-point shooter or something, he would have had an A plus season. But the reason he's on the floor so much is because he can't shoot.
Because he can't shoot, yeah.
So I gave him A minus. He always can. When did he ever come? We were like, dude, Blake, get off the floor. That's very nice. He always came in and impacted. I know it was always dog minutes, garbage time, but he came in and always impacted. And I don't know. I think we should have played him way more when we needed sparks off the bench.
Okay, so all right, so wait, hold on. Reagan, before you respond. So Reagan, Spurs bros who are listening and not watching, again, Reagan's given these crazy faces, these wild facial expressions, and here's what I'll say to this in Stewart's defense is we're giving grades based on the team that we had and the performance that we had for the season. So yeah, we won 34 games. Give grades within
what do you want Blake to do? He played
for the season.
What do you want? What do you want him to do? What
go
back
I wrote
and tell
down?
me when he had an awful stint
we're
of
so
basketball.
out
We were
of
like,
sync
dude, Blake.
all of a sudden. Blake Wesley C minus for me.
Oh. All right.
Third year guy, first round pick in 2022. He could barely sniff the floor for the entire season. I said in my notes, I said it would have been a D until the solid minutes down the stretch of the season when things didn't matter. Again, the last 6 weeks of the season, if you're not in contention, it's a really tough time. You can get fooled when you're evaluating players. Did he come in and do great things? Yes. Is he a fantastic culture guy, energy guy, always rooting? Yes. Love that. But it's his third year as a first-round pick in 2022. This is a season when it's kind of make or break. Are you going to get a second contract or not? And he couldn't get on the floor for what ended up being a 34-win team until the last 10 games of the season. He came in, he played well, energy on defense and everything. But I think, for me, I'm looking at it as a whole season perspective, and he didn't move the needle at all. And I think honestly, he was less impactful or showed less promise than what he has in prior seasons just because he couldn't get on the floor as much. So I don't know. To me, it's more of this is your make it or break it kind of season. Are you going to be a second contract guy or are you not? And I don't know that he proved that, whether it's with us or another team. So I don't know.
Damn, completely opposite. Me and Al were right there, A minus,
yeah.
C plus. We were on the same wavelength of when he got his PT, he would excel and all that. Reagan,
I agree, but I also think there's some recency bias for you guys. That was the last 10 games. Think about it. When did he play in the middle of the season?
Well, because we had Trey Jones. We had Trey
Yeah,
Jones on our team still. That was
do,
the other thing. So
do
we
you
didn't.
remember like 4 months ago in the season, and like Tim, I remember all y'all, but Tim included was like making all these faces when I was like, dude, let's play Blake over Trey. Like Blake comes in when I was all annoyed with Trey, and I was saying let's trade
Over
him because
Trey.
we're trading him.
Yeah.
But that, like 4 months ago, I've always been saying let's play Blake. The past 2 years, anytime he gets PT, he's my type of player. I love watching Blake play out there.
Yeah, I don't like, don't get me wrong. Like, I liked watching him when he came in. I just think, like, is he a difference maker on a winning team? No. Is he going to crack the rotation, regular season or playoffs? No. And
Well, but what
I
was the
don't
other
know.
stuff you said? So we might as well keep him as 13th, 14th, 15th guy off the bench. At least he's there being a good locker room guy and
Yeah,
all
I'm
that
not
stuff.
saying
We're
that
not going
like
to pay him 5 mil a
remove
year or
him.
something.
Yeah, but if he wants to be the 12th guy on the roster, cool. But
Yeah.
I'm not going to give a first round pick 3 years into his career an A minus or a B plus for being the 12th man on a roster. The hell are we talking about? I
Oh,
don't
I love
know.
it. I
I don't
love
Well,
it.
know.
I,
Call
I
me a
just don't think
hater.
he's got his chance.
Yeah. Well,
It's
yeah.
always been Trey over him, and then CP came in.
He
He's never got a
only
chance.
he only
Go beat the guy out. Go
well
beat Trey
he
Jones out. What do you want
he
him to do?
I
I
would
think
definitely say he probably locked up CP every practice. We weren't going to bench CP. Just like Castle did. He probably did beat him out,
How
but
much did CP practice, bro? Come on.
well, exactly,
Like
yeah. So
60. I don't know.
dude. And so either way,
I'm a hater. Whatever.
he only played 58 games this year.
I'm saying he played 2/3 of the games, and it was probably like 5 minutes, if that.
So yeah, he averaged 11.8 minutes a game. But that's probably because the last,
the end
however
for
many
sure.
games. Yeah, that got bumped up like crazy. But I mean, all right, yeah, we'll move on here. We don't need to spend too much time with Blake Wesley here.
Blake.
All right,
Yeah.
moving on to Malachi Branham. I'm sure we're all around the same grade
Yeah,
here.
after that take, we all got to be in the. I'm D plus. Said still a good score whenever he got his PT, which was very 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 little, even way less than Blake. But when he got his PT, he'd come in and be streaky. Could put up 8 points in a couple minutes or just miss all his shots. But D plus hasn't done shit. He's definitely not going to re-sign this summer.
Okay, I have a grade, but go ahead, Reagan.
Yeah, D. Disappointing season, fell out of the rotation. There's not much there for me. Anyone with
Yeah,
Branham.
yeah. I gave an F. I just completely failed him. Like he just
Yeah, harsh.
well, yeah, like he only played 47 games this season, averaged about
I was
nine
surprised he
game.
even played that much.
Yeah, averaged 9 minutes a game, averaged 5 points a game. It's just disappointing. Again, maybe it's because I did put high hopes on him whenever we drafted him. Again, who was it that said that? Oh my gosh, this guy's gonna be a steal. The Spurs got a good one in
Jay
Malachi.
Billis.
Yeah, Jay
Yeah.
Billis. Yeah. After that,
Steal
I
the
don't know if it.
draft. Yeah.
Right, still the draft, and I'm watching him, and he looks like just this natural scorer. Looks like he could just get buckets, and like that's what he did the first couple of years in the league. We always knew that defense was his knock, but we are like, you know what? If he works on it, if he works hard, plays team defense, works on rotations, none of that. He did zero of that, and it's like that didn't make sense to me. I don't know like if talent is that much better than him and he's that bad at defense, like is he Bryn Forbes bad at defense?
Yes.
Like and so okay, so I guess that's what it is. Either way, it was so bad that games where Malachi could have and maybe even should have played, we played Blake Wesley over Malachi. So I mean that's why I was contrasting between the two. So
Yeah.
yeah, Malachi gets a complete failing grade from me. Unfortunately, I liked him, but that's tough. Next is Mamu. Mamu, our boy.
Sandro, I gave him a C plus. Um, and look, for this part one, I wasn't giving anybody an A because like this is the back half of the roster. I wasn't giving anybody an A. I think Mamu, he's an electric culture guy, fan favorite. He had the Flava Flav game. He was the mastermind behind Steph Castle's rookie hazing, taking the wheels off the Supra. So I gave him a C plus. I think he did well. Passing grade, like he came in, he shot the ball well, he stayed ready. I'd love to have him back on a minimum contract, but he didn't set the world on fire. He didn't like cause us to lose games by any means. He had inconsistent minutes and played well when he was called upon. So yeah, C plus for me. It was good.
I was basically there with you. I was B minus though. Me just having a little bigger of a heart. Big hearts too. That's what they call me.
Yes, dude, the
So I just
positivity guy
put
all
B
year.
minus. Little slow on D still. Always came in and had an impact, kind of like Blake did. But then again, enough PT. We were harping all season. Let's put Blake. I mean, let's put Mamu in a little more. And then I put we should re-sign him. I do want to keep him.
Yes. I had him as a B. I had him as a B. He played 61 games this year. And I just for that reason alone, right? Not for that reason alone, but I love that Mamu game, the Flav Flav game. He literally set an NBA all-time record,
Sick.
which was crazy. I love that. I love that he always, I don't know, in my mind, he he always played hard. I don't know if it's his defense that coaches didn't like, and that's the reason why he wouldn't play him more and more consistently throughout the year. But he always stepped up on offense. He always found a way to score, get an offensive rebound. He played
Facts.
really well with Wemby. Always. I mean, that was like
Yeah.
going back to last year, end of last year.
Yeah.
Wemby and spoke highly of Mamu. Still a young guy. It just seems like a good, again, culture fit for the Spurs. So I liked all of that. He was, I guess, according to StatMuse, a minus 28 plus minus for the season. So I mean, if we're going by that alone, then Reagan, you're probably way more in the ballpark as me. But just for those intangibles, I got him as a B.
Yeah, dude, I'd love, like I said, I'd love to have him back. If Blake Wesley and Mamu were like the end of the rotation kind of people, not into the bench, but like bottom of the rotation, I think that'd be great
Yeah.
because the energy they bring. I would give Mamu a C plus. Honestly, I hope if that's the sentiment with everybody, I hope that pushes him to kind of improve his defense because I think that is the spot where hey, you're this 6'9", 6'10" versatile kind of athlete. I think people expect a little bit more out of him. Being able to guard the 3, the 4, and the 5, and he didn't always show that. So if he can improve his defense, man, I think he's got a solid spot in the rotation next year.
Yep.
Moving on, we've got Keldon Johnson. What do we got for Keldon Johnson? This is an interesting one. This is an interesting one. Go ahead, guys.
Stu?
I'm B minus, but I think last year I would have given him a C or something. So I think that's why this year I did B minus, but still lacks consistency and stuff. But he did get better shooting. He has showed getting better shooting over the years, so that's still good. He's still not even in his prime yet, and I think he's fully accepted his role off the bench. I think that's why, like this year, he's always been the guy we were saying, got trade, got trade. Now I'm like, I want to keep him and trade Devin because I think he's fully accepted his role. He doesn't expect to be a starter anymore and stuff. Came in, averages like 9.5 shots off the bench. Perfect. He'd usually hit 5, 6 of them, and then sometimes he'd go off for 20 a game. But yeah, I'm B minus. Got better at shooting. Still lacks a little consistency, so he's not a B plus or A minus. But I like Keldon. Keep him around.
I had him. I had him as a B, so we're close there. B, basically for those reasons. He's the perfect culture guy. He accepted his role. He went from being a starter, if you think about it, being a starter in the NBA, one of our leading scorers, to the Olympics. He won a gold medal, to coming off the bench as basically our sixth man. And then even this year, he's taken an even lesser role, but still has found a way to stay humble in it and has found a way to just like keep that same Keldon lively, big smile energy that he always has. And he averaged, what was it, 12.7 points per game, close to 5 rebounds, 1.6 assists. Played in a lot of games. He didn't play in all 82, but he played in 77. That's pretty darn close. That's really, really good. So,
I don't think he ever had an injury. We probably just sat him those 5 games. So.
Right. Yeah. Or exactly. Something like that. For all those reasons, I give him a B. I like that he's still a threat on offense as well. I mean, he can easily still get downhill. He can still body people, right? We talk about this a lot. He lost a lot of weight. He was like lean and mean, but he could still, push people around. He still had that big body energy. So I love all that. For all those reasons, I give him a B.
I gave him a B too. I think we're all pretty close. He started the year not great from three. He ended the year not great from three, but towards the middle of the season, he was shooting the ball pretty well. I think he improved marginally on defense. Some of the rotation stuff was still a little concerning, but as far as like being an on-ball perimeter defender, he kind of moved from bad to average. If you look at his defensive rating stuff, Brand new on Twitter, Keldon Muse actually put together a whole thread on his performance. So that's where I'm citing some of the stuff from. So shout out there. But yeah, continue to be the main energy guy, tone setter off the bench. And I think, I mean, it kind of says it for itself. He set a Spurs single season bench scoring record. He passed Manu Ginobili in that on the year with over 960 points. So 950 points, whatever it was. So yeah, solid season. Give him a B. Keep him
That's
around.
yeah, love that. And last but not least, we have Mr. CP3, Chris Paul. What do we have for Chris Paul, boys?
I gave him a B plus. Again, like, and we said this yesterday, Alec, on the guest spot. But CP3, to me, the news came down that Chris Paul is a Spur, and it was like, what the hell? He's a who? But once like I got used to that, it's kind of cool seeing him in a Spurs uniform, something you'd never think you'd ever see, but he did exactly what we brought him in to do. He mentored Steph Castle. He mentored the whole team, really. Coach on the floor, playmaking ability, setting guys up, helping guys see the floor, understand what it means to be an NBA player. Perfect example of how to take care of your body playing 82 games at 39 years old. Um, that's really impressive in your 20th season. Enjoyed having him around. Who knows what the future holds? But I give him a really solid B plus. I think his age limited some of his defense, but to be expected. He's not prime Chris Paul, but he still affected the game in positive ways most of the time.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, brother, you basically hit all the points. I was B minus, a little less. Basically just B minus purely for his knowledge and wisdom he brought to the young guys. Like you said, taught Stephon. He distributed the ball pretty good. I would think I would have given him a B plus or A minus if he would have been better scoring all year. There were a lot of games when he had like 0 points, even just hitting 1 3 or something. He was never aggressive enough. We were super hyped and like preseason. Oh, midi Chris gonna be coming off screens with Wemby hitting all these middies, this that the other. It just never came around this season. So that kind of sucked. So I would have liked to see more scoring. But he was dishing the ball. He averaged 8 assists a game. That's really good for a 40-year-old point guard. I put maybe resign depending on what we do this summer. Anyone who listens to the pod, we've talked about a lot. So maybe resign. If not, like you said, Reagan, it was great to have him around for all the reasons. Taught Stephon all that. But maybe he'll be here next year as well. We'll see.
Yep. Yep. Depending on. And I had him at a B plus as well. At first, my first glance, my first thought was A minus, just because of, if you think about some of the things that we were bitching at the team for, it was mostly not, it was out of his control, right? We don't know for sure. We were just assuming like, why is he in the game the last 5 minutes of the game? Like we got to have, Stephon in the game, but obviously that's not his fault, right? It's just, it is what it is. And he did with the minutes what he could have. All the reasons that we just mentioned, he taught the boys. He came in, as De'Aaron Fox mentioned on a podcast not too long ago. Someone asked him, he's like, "What have you learned most about Chris Paul? Just him being around as a vet, true vet, 39-year-old guy on the team." He said basically just like how he prepares for the game, like how he takes care of his body, how he does, just does all these little things right to stay right physically. Obviously, as evidenced by he played 82 games this season, and just his passion, his love for the game, his will to win, still wanting to compete, like all of those things are really, really cool for a guy, in his prime, just starting his prime, like De'Aaron Fox is, to see going forward, just to like, understand that and just like hopefully take that to heart going into the next few years of his career. I ended up going to the B plus because exactly that, Stu. There was some times where there were some inconsistencies where it's like we could have maybe won a game. We look at the box score, we look back, it's like, oh shoot, yeah, Chris Paul, he played 32 minutes or whatever it was, and he only had 6 points or 4 points. So there was just
starting
a little
point guard in the league, like we said, got to at least be having 10 a game.
And he would like, you could see him turn it on sometimes, and
Yeah.
like he would go hit shots and go on a little 7-8 point streak himself. So it was there. It was just like the hesitancy to go do it sometimes was a little frustrating.
Yep. So that was my main thing, but that's why I sort of downgraded to a B plus. But yeah, man, that's all good and well. I think we're about about accurate. I mean, with each other for most part. I guess Blake Wesley was the
Blake
big
was the biggest.
Blake, yeah, that's kind of crazy,
differentiator.
unexpected.
Actually, let's ask the Spurs Bros. What do we give? What will we give Blake Wesley, man?
Yeah, are y'all
That's
closer with Alec and I on a B plus area, or just straight up D minus? Reagan to like,
D.
oh C. Okay, no, I thought he was
Yeah.
D.
No, I gave him a D,
Oh,
bro.
D.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
oh
yeah.
gosh,
He was
yeah.
D,
Right?
like year
No, C
three.
minus. Blake Wesley was a C minus.
C
Yeah,
minus.
yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll put a poll up on the Spurs Bros Pod Twitter and see what everybody else had them. Because yeah, that sparked the most debate of the whole show. It's funny. Okay, so that was part one of player grades. I think we got into some heated discussions there about Blake Wesley of all people. So let us know what you think. If you agree with any of our grades, if you think one of us is just completely off base with somebody for good or bad, let us know what you think in the comments here on YouTube. Send us a message, mention us on Twitter, Instagram. We're looking for your thoughts on this. We want to hear what y'all have to say. Again, part two of player grades is going to air on episode 31 next week. So stay tuned for that. In the meantime, don't forget, we've got hats available. If you're looking for a Spurs Bros Pod hat, let us know. We'll ship it directly to you. But other than that, man, hit like on this video, subscribe to the channel, stay tuned. We're going to be pushing stuff out all summer long. And from the Spurs Bros, go Spurs, go.